Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and today we're visiting with Kristin Hildabrand, Warren County Extension Agent for Horticulture. And Kristin, I know one of your favorite things to talk about is pollinators, because they are so important to our food economy, our local economy, and just really our daily life.
They really are. So 1 out of every 3 bites of food that we take every single day is due to the help of a pollinator. So whenever you talk about, I think a lot of people think about honeybees necessarily. They're very important, but hummingbirds, even beetles, other insects, play a part of that pollinator role. It's really important, the things that we have, in order to have the foods that we really enjoy. I know a lot of times, like even with fruits, a lot of time if you look at your spread of food and the fruits that we have, it's all due to the help of a pollinator.
And so what's the pollinator's role?
Yes, so what they do is they visit blooms, specific blooms, and with hummingbirds, we talked about that they like probably more red blooms, that they also like tubular type blooms. So they'll actually, go to each flower and they carry it on their bodies. And even with honeybees and other bees like that, they'll actually pollinate from one flower to another. And each bee is a little bit different, on how they carry that pollen. And so whenever that unique process happens, then a lot of that fruit is pollinated, and that's what we get at the end of the harvest season. So it's really important what they do for us.
And so we need to probably help create an environment for all these different types of pollinators.
That's right. So one of our goals, especially with our gardens that we have on site here at the Extension office, is that we wanted to provide a space for the public to come out and take a look and see what native plants are good for attracting wildlife. And I know, Joanna, that even for me, in my background, I had a lot more background in ornamentals, not necessarily plants that were native to Kentucky, but plants that are native to Kentucky. They do well for our environment. They prefer our soils, as sometimes that's difficult for other plants to grow. But those root systems from those native plants are very extensive because, again, they're conditioned to our soil types here in Kentucky. So whenever you look at some of these native plant offerings, they can also attract a lot of other native pollinators to your garden, not just like hummingbirds, but bees and butterflies, beetles, all of that nature. And so we wanted to provide a site for people to be able to see these native plants in action. So what we've done with the help of our Master Gardener volunteers is we've kind of placed these blooms at season. So we have some that bloom for the spring season. There's a great offering of summer blooming plants at that time. And then also we've made it a point, especially for the monarch butterfly, to provide some fall blooming type plants as well. So that way, whenever they're carrying on that migration to Mexico, they can have a good offering there as well.
And it's so nice because you can just walk outside our office and see all the blooms that are gorgeous, but you can also see all the insects kind of working their magic in there. And I know you guys have a pretty neat event or promotion to kind of help people come out and take photos of these pollinators.
Yes, I feel like summer is just a great time to see some of the pollinators in action. I think, a lot of times you can fit it in your schedule, what works best for you. But right now we have a pollinator photo contest that's going on, and so it's just a great way to come here and observe the action of the pollinators, take some pictures, maybe put this into the photo contest and see how it performs. But we actually have 3 different categories for people to enter. So there's an adult category, and that's, as long as you're not a paid photographer, you're fine for that. There's also a youth category, as long as you're under the age of 18. So there's that category, and as well as a more paid professional type category. So depending on where you want to be at, we ask that you submit up to 3 photos, and it can be of anything. Maybe take your pick, but you can come out on site. We ask you to take pictures here at our location, and we have some nice Aldo Leopold benches for you to sit and observe and watch. If you're looking specifically for butterflies, Joanna, I would say probably the hours of 1 and 4 are the best butterfly viewing hours. So you might want to make sure you wear a nice wide brimmed hat, maybe pack some water with you, bring your camera. I know a lot of times people will take them just on their phones, and they can do some close-ups. We ask that people not move caterpillars around because a lot of times they're going to their specific host plants, so we don't want them to move that. But we have a great flyer that's got further information on how to enter if you want to check that out. We do offer some prizes if you do win that category. It goes all the way to the end end of September. September 30th is the last date.
All right, but they can also enter that photo into the Soki Fair.
That's right.
For possible prizes and ribbons there too. And we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.